Welcome back to The Run. Here in the US, we're on the verge of at least a partial retrenchment of the Patriot Act. But France is reeling from the deadly attack on satirical journal Charlie Hebdo. They're also trying to stem the tide of fighters heading to Syria to join ISIS in response to recruiting efforts on social media throughout France. And they're turning to the Patriot Act as a model. Legislation now pending would, as summarized by the New York Times, quote, allow the intelligence services to tap cell phones, read emails, and force internet companies to allow the government to sift through virtually all of their subscribers' communications. We're also hearing some familiar caveats. French Prime Minister Manuel Valls says this is a necessary update to intelligence laws passed before the internet or cell phones. He insists the law will be targeted, saying, quote, the means of surveillance for anticipating, detecting, and prevention of attacks will be strictly limited. But the head of the Paris Bar Association responded, quote, it is a state lie. We just passed Yogi Berra's birthday on May 12th. Isn't this deja vu all over again, Heather?
Well, if we're looking at, it's a problem in France too. I mean, I think we're saying, like, is it for the modern age? Well, should we have been opening everyone's mail? I mean, just because technology has advanced doesn't mean that we should change our privacy. Just because there is terrorism doesn't mean our liberty should be given up. In here, in France, in Germany, anywhere else.
Anders, how about that? If we're looking for a needle in a haystack, do we open all the mail?
Well, it's actually a canard that we didn't have forms of intelligence collection in the past that were quite pervasive. For example, if you have a police officer standing on a corner watching people pass, right, he's technically collecting intelligence on all of these people. He's looking at them, he's looking at, you know, he's assessing them, all right?
Expectation of privacy in that scenario.
Well, we can also have no expectation of privacy with aspects of our email and our telecommunications, right? We can do that. We can make a decision as a democracy. We trust our government, and we want them to be looking for terrorists.
When did we make that
in
decision?
an aggressive way?
Right. We never made the decision.
We made that decision in some of the
them.
laws that we've passed, right? I mean,
Well, that's not we.
The Patriot Act. That's a democratic decision.
Well,
No,
now,
it
how about the end user agreements that none of us read, but which make all of our stuff available to any number of marketers who now are compiling reports on each of us as individuals that affect our FICO scores, perhaps will affect our ability to achieve low-cost health insurance in the future.
A lot of what people say that we are putting out there voluntarily is not really done on a personal level, right? That you are an aggregate, you are a number, if they want to market it to you.
They've got your IP address and they know it's you, and they sell advertising to you.
Right,
based
but
on
I also
what
can
you
opt
do.
out of all of that, and I don't have to read it. I don't have to open it. I don't have to look at it. Anything that comes to me that I haven't requested goes into my spam folder, right? Or I unsubscribe, whatever. But that is about selling us products. It is not about having the ability to put you on a terrorist watch list or to put you on a no-fly list.
Terrorists
or
can't
to
opt
decide
out, and
that
they shouldn't
somebody-
be able to opt out.
Or to decide that you, because you made a phone call to some number, or you happen to be in the vicinity, that you're suddenly suspicious. So it's really not true. I think that the Charlie Hebdo situation is tragic, but again, it's the same problem with 9/11. We were shocked, we were stunned, but the number of people that actually died, and I'm known to get broiled in oil for this, was pretty minor compared to the things that kill many more Americans on a regular basis.
It's not just the people that die, it's the terror that it causes in the rest of society.
The terror was caused by our own government. That if our government had handled it differently, and it's still going on, you talk about the Democrats scaring the population, the war on terror is about as effective and meaningful
the
as
chilling
the war
effect on
drugs.
freedom of speech that the Charlie Hebdo attacks had
It's not a chilling effect.
is a big deal.
Where's the home of the brave? That's what I'd like to know. We used to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. It seems to me that neither of those are much in evidence.
If you're worried about pervasive chilling effects on speech, I think the fact that everybody's terrified to use certain keywords in email is a big chilling effect.
What keyword are you terrified to use?
What,
Any number.
like Allah? I don't, you know. I mean, what,
No, I mean that means God. It's fine.
You don't think that increases your odds
Obama
of-
brings in the whole Muslim community
Talk
into the
about
White House.
naivete. I mean, what if you wanted to look at Inspire magazine just to see what it was all about? Inspire is the jihadist magazine that
Yeah, what if you're a
was founded by-
researcher?
right? What if you're just interested to see what
Probably
the
if
thing
you're
is?
involved in a jihadist, pro-terrorist
Well, we don't even
publication,
know that.
yes, you're of
The
interest. you know?
Tsarnaev brothers had, this is what they claim was when they found them after the bombing, was that they were able to put these pieces together. But the pieces already exist, and one of them was that they were regular subscribers, the elder one, to Inspire magazine.
So that's exactly my point.
But they didn't-
have the
weren't able to
puzzle
stop
pieces,
them.
but they're not being allowed to put them
No, it's
together.
not that they're not
this
being allowed, it's that
technology
they-
allows them to
No,
put it
it does
together.
not do
It
that.
allows them to find the pattern out there
does
And there's
in the
not.
haystack.
There's ample
Does
evidence
not.
that no matter how much data they have at their disposal, the government doesn't make smart decisions about how to filter it. I mean, so for instance, you might think it's a good thing the Department of Homeland Security is offering military equipment to local police departments. And what are they doing with it? They're doing things like saying they need troop transports in New Hampshire because there's some libertarians there and they might act up. That actually happened. The government makes all sorts of arbitrary decisions. They've got a no-fly list. That sounds like it could potentially be useful, but people like Senator Ted Kennedy ended up on it because his name is the same as some obscure Irish
There are
terrorist.
mistakes, right? There are mistakes.
There seem to
But
be-
no one's going after libertarians, or it's not the early 1970s anymore, right?
that's
You
because pot's
put
legal.
that worry
Oh,
away,
so
you know.
naive. You are so naive.
COINTELPRO doesn't exist anymore. Don't worry
Melanie,
about
aren't
that.
aren't you tilting at windmills? You say that if you don't want a service, it goes to your spam folder. But Palantir and other companies have a dossier on you somewhere
Yes.
that by name.
But they can't put me on a no-fly list.
Well, you know,
But even
Or
Angela
on a terrorist
even
watch
Angela
list.
Merkel, who was herself swept up in an
Yes.
NSA sweep of cell phone numbers, and
It wasn't a
was-
sweep. That was
it
targeted.
was-
We target foreign leaders.
And
That's
Dilma
for a
Rousseff,
fact.
all of our friends,
And they
all of
target
our-
us.
all of our pseudo friends. Everybody watches everybody else, and she
Right.
has acknowledged. Even she has acknowledged that friends don't do this to each other, but we have to work with the NSA. She said that a few days ago. I mean, isn't this just
I
the
think
world
that
we live in
that
as
the-
a function
that
of
the-
technology, a necessary outcome of the way that technology
The
has
military-
evolved?
I think the
industrial
corporations
complex
collecting
has-
all this information is a problem too.
Right. But it doesn't have the same
How do you put the
impact,
genie
right?
back in the bottle?
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is because one is sunlight. It always is the strongest disinfectant. So if we really know what's going on, and we found bits and pieces of it, but there's a lot more. I think that we have to change our entire understanding of what threat in the world is. I mean, the human beings have faced threats. To me, the terrorist threat is pretty minor. I'm sorry. We were told WMD
Al
in
Qaeda's
Iraq.
looking for nuclear weapons.
That's what we were told, with the yellow cake and the Valerie Plame scandal, right? Where are they getting it from?
Read
We
Graham
are
Allison's
killing-
Nuclear
No,
Terrorism,
we are
Harvard
killing hundreds
professor.
of thousands of people around the world. Innocent people. And we never ask ourselves, where does the motivation come that so many young men want to leave France or this country, and even young girls now, and go join up with ISIS in Syria? Why is that? What is the root causes? We never discuss it. It's just a convenient thing. Oh, they're radical
We've been
Islamists.
discussing
oh, it's
inequality
just
ad
religion.
a
No.
lot on this
But there's
panel.
a huge amount of issues. There's jobs, there's poverty, there's climate change causing disruptions in the food chain. There's so many issues. So this war on terror is as stupid as the war on drugs. First of all, what is a war on terror? You're going to make me not have nightmares in my bed? Are we going to be, I'm not going to fear the boogeyman down the street. I'm just going to be afraid of every brown-skinned person that
Do you
comes
think
near
that
me?
terrorism should be legalized but regulated like marijuana?
Sure.
I see.
Speaking of France, one useful thing about France or other European nations or Japan, which does not have a very strong notion of privacy, imitating the NSA in the US, is that we'll have a chance at least to see what sort of horrible things they do wrong, and I predict they will be very intrusive. So if you're convinced, Anders, that we should trust Big Brother, at least we can keep our eyes for a little while on the Le Grand Frère and see what sort of horrible things it does. Because
I mean, there isn't a single case of the NSA doing anything against anyone's
Well,
civil
do you
liberties.
believe it's
there's no
constitutional?
single case of anything happening there.
Do you believe it's constitutional?
What happened from an NSA?
One reminder that they're at least engaged in mission creep is the fact that occasionally, when they get done talking about how this stuff would only be used for anti-terrorism efforts, they'll admit they do a lot of corporate espionage. They spy on big corporations in Europe and that sort of thing.
And they give it to the FBI. There's more evidence that that's happening.
That's got virtually
they're
nothing
not
to do with
supposed to
crime.
be for national investigations.
Heather,
the FBI is not supposed to have
to your
access
point
to.
about constitutionality, you're making a Fourth Amendment unreasonable search and seizure argument.
Absolutely. It is unconstitutional. Do you believe it's constitutional?
I think it should
And
be
by it,
constitutional.
you're talking about the metadata
I
collection
think
I
we
think,
program?
want
I,
it
think
to
the,
be.
I think the metadata collection program, I think all is sort of the NSA spying that's indiscriminate and without approval of probable cause from some other court, not the secret FISA court.
Which has just been overruled after 35 times consistently ruling that,
But that's not done yet, by the way. The government said they're going to appeal the
sure.
decision. I think there's 2 other cases, one before the Ninth Circuit and another lower court. The main thing is that for the first time, it was actually allowed to go to a court, at a public court, and we could understand it publicly. So that's the hopeful thing about this
Melody, let
decision.
me ask you to drill down. You said a moment ago that there's really no difference between the metadata and the content of a phone call or an email. I mean, do you really think that?
Yes, in terms of what it is that the NSA is trying to do, and they're doing it so badly. I keep going back. No one has answered my point about the fact that we had every tool that we needed to stop 9/11, or the Tsarnaevs with all these extra tools. Is that they don't need to hear you on a phone saying, "Yeah, we're going to blow up the Empire State Building." Right? That's not what they're looking for. And they're bringing in psychologists, and they're doing this profiling of people, and they're just getting it wrong to the tune of millions.
You're contradicting
millions.
yourself
And so you have
logically.
all these records. No,
because
because if
the
they-
answer
if they-
to them doing it wrong is to do it better, and they're being hogtied by all these
I don't
laws
understand
not
how
to do
they're
it well.
not being hogtied. Every day, in the last 5 years, we have learned over and over again about, thanks for Edward Snowden, who has been, excoriated for what he did, but so much of what we've learned that they have lied through their teeth, program after program, the prison program, all these different things that are unconstitutional, that were never really approved. They have gone after all the whistleblowers in a way that, more than any other president combined before.
There's all kinds
Truman.
of
And
rules
so-
that they have to
Yeah, but-
follow.
yeah,
They have to
but they
leave the
don't-
data at the phone
they
company.
don't
They've got
follow
to cut
them, and
out
we know
some of
that
the,
now.
delete a bunch of the
all
old
a
data.
lie.
Heather.
It's just
This
all a
Freedom
lie.
Act may effectively prevent a number of these cases that are coming up through the courts from moving up and getting this to the Supreme Court and fundamentally challenging the constitutionality of these programs. And that is a problem if we pass this Freedom Act. Let the Patriot
You're not
Act
a lawyer.
expire.
I'm not a lawyer. Who can say that it's constitutional or not constitutional? What I know is that it should be constitutional. We need that protection.
To Heather's point,
Please read the Fourth Amendment.
Well, and Heather's point, it's a procedural point, if I understand you right, that we're simply not going to find out. It will not proceed. And that's the nature of courts, that they rule on the matter before them. And if they can rule on the statutory question rather than the constitutional question, they do that. If they can rule on standing rather than the statute, they rule on standing. And the Supreme Court itself does this all the time. We may never get an answer on the constitutional question. Melody.
But it is sure a heck of a job creator. That's
It is. That's our time for today. I want to thank our panelists, Todd Seavey, Anders Skor, Heather Woodfield, Melody Brooks. Stick with BEN, where jobs come first. I'm Jonathan Funk. We'll see you next time on The Run.